last few weeks,
Yeah.
the narrative has been, so negative around the IT industry. If you look at reports of layoffs, reports of aggrieved employees petitioning labor commissioners in various states, how would you really see these developments? I mean, should we read them as, routine performance related, or, is there something more that has happened this time around?
Well, first of all, let's remember that we have gone through these drafts in business several times in the past. We went through that in 2008. We went through that in 2001 when there was internet bust. So this is nothing new. So therefore, there is no need for us to become extremely anxious. Number two, we have had solutions to such problems in the past. Let me give you example of Infosys itself. When the market became very tough, when the market shrank actually in 2001, we all sat together, the senior management, and then we said that look, let us make some sacrifice and ensure that we protect the jobs of youngsters. At that time we had offered jobs to 1,500 engineers. Several companies were postponing the joining date. We said, let's not do that. Let us demonstrate our commitment to youngsters by the senior people taking some salary cuts and based on the disposable income and reducing that kind of cut as we went down the job hierarchy, and then let's welcome these 1,500 engineers. That's exactly what we did. The senior most people at the internal director level, we took the highest cut. Then the next level, senior vice president, took slightly less cut, etc. That was all based on disposable income. So therefore, I have a feeling that it is possible for us to protect the jobs of youngsters if the senior people were to make some minor adjustments. Number one. Number two, parallelly, the industry leaders will identify new areas of opportunity. They will mount training programs to train these youngsters in those new technologies and give them enough opportunity to pick up those technologies, and then tell them, friend, you have to work harder now and ensure that you are in a position to add value to the company in the next 1 year or so. Otherwise, we will not have any opportunity for you. So that you give these youngsters enough time to pick up new skills, new technologies, and if some of them don't, then they will have to seek opportunities in some other industry.
Right.
So that is the only way you can.
Right. I want to touch upon the first thing you said, sir, in terms of the adjustments that senior people need to make.
Yeah.
Do you see that happening today in some of the big Indian IT companies, say TCS, Infosys, Pro, Tech Mahindra, wherever we've seen reports of layoffs? Is that commitment there among senior management that I will take a pay cut, but I'm not going to let the livelihood of middle managers or freshers who we are yet to induct get affected in any way, because we haven't been able to read the business environment accurately? Are you seeing that commitment today?
I don't know, because I am not in touch with the industry, therefore I am not the right person to answer that question. You will have to talk to leaders in individual companies. You will have to talk to perhaps NASSCOM. I have been traveling abroad a lot, so therefore I am not in a position to answer that. All that I can say is that there are a lot of smart leaders in the industry, and I have no doubt at all that they are all well-intentioned people and they can find solutions.
Right.
Because it's not fair to simply send somebody home and then let them become let them become very, very anxious, because they may have families depending on them, they have children, parents, spouses, and all of that. So it is incumbent on the leaders of the industry to find reasonable solutions, and I have no doubt many of them are finding. So therefore, you will need to get into details before we make a comment on them. That's what I feel.
Right. So a broader question, how much of this would you attribute to the current business environment, perhaps declining revenues, or is it a sign of changes, broader changes in the IT industry? The way they've conducted business, say in the last decade or 2 decades, is not going to be the same. The pace of hiring, it's been the biggest private sector employer in the country. Perhaps that will not be the case going forward. How much should we read into the overall changes happening in the technology space?
Well, I think there are lot of innovations coming. There is a desire to improve productivity. The customers are facing pain. So it is a combination of all these. But the reality is that a stable corporation is one where every employee is happy. Every employee has hope. Every employee can show confidence and commitment. And to do that, we have to find reasonable solutions. And my view, as I said, is that the industry leaders are quite capable of finding the required solutions.
Right. In terms of the solutions itself, N. Chandra, the chairman of Tata Group, wrote a very interesting piece about how more technology will invariably lead to more jobs. So, we just need to skill people right. Do companies have the patience to do that today, or, are they letting go of people because that's the easiest way to perhaps ensure that margins don't take a major hit at a time when the project pipeline is not looking healthy, discretionary spend hasn't looked up in the US? You think they are not investing enough in reskilling or retraining existing workforce?
No, Mr. N. Chandrasekharan is a remarkable person. He's a very wise man, an extraordinary leader. So he's right. Just look at the case of ATMs. When ATMs came, a lot of people thought that tellers would lose their job. Actually, the number of tellers has actually increased. So therefore, we must accept that as new technologies come, there will be more and more job opportunities as long as we help our youngsters to reskill themselves for the required jobs. So I am not that much anxious, and I believe that God is not. I believe that God is not finished with us, and there is a lot of opportunity. And it just takes a little bit of determination on the part of the senior leaders of the industry to invest heavily in skills. As you know, Infosys has the world's largest corporate training facility. So I have no doubt at all that it should be very easy for companies like Infosys to mount new training programs and reskill a large number of youngsters.
Right. So in terms of the skills needed today, what you really need are full stack developers, from design to product development.
Yeah.
You think the IT industry perhaps should have read this demand many years back instead of talking about it, say, in the last year or so, and they still haven't been able to find this talent outside in large numbers? So you think the industry on the whole should have done more to read this demand, say 4-5 years back?
It's always very easy to
talk about hindsight, right?
So I would not be that critical. I think they are all smart people. They are all well intentioned. They are spending a lot of time in finding solutions. So I would not be critical. All that we need to do is to be very constructive in providing whatever help we can provide to those people in coming out with new ideas, new solutions. and give examples of how other sectors of the industry have performed in the past when they went through troughs. Other geographies have handled it. So I think I am more positive than most.
Don't say me. Final few questions, sir. The IT industry, has for long been, symbolic of urban consumption.
Yeah.
The rise in urban consumption and wealth creation has been synonymous with the IT industry.
Yeah.
Do you see that continuing? Do you see any social impact as a result of this, in the number of engineering graduates who come out every year, or, the existing mid-level employees who may not find a similar lucrative job anymore? So what is the social impact of this going to be? Are we not looking at that enough currently?
So I think every industry goes through ups and downs. It's not just the IT industry alone. So the important thing is to ensure that we have a portfolio of sectors in terms of job creation. When IT industry goes down, some other sector has to go up, etc., etc. So as long as people have learnability, as long as people have the confidence to reskill themselves, I believe they will be able to move from one sector of the economy to the other sector. For example, we have so many mechanical engineers in the IT industry, so many civil engineers, so many metallurgical engineers. So therefore, these people will be in a position to find opportunities in other sectors of the economy which will grow faster than the IT industry, and that is how economies progress on an overall basis.
Okay. And in the last few weeks, there's also been, increasing demand for perhaps unions to take charge. Should IT industry be regulated, be governed by unions? Should the government intervene? What is your own sense on this? I mean, the popular saying is IT industry has grown because there was no government intervention, only policy support. But do you think this could this could give reason for unions to sort of make a comeback again into campuses, and because more employees feel anguished at this point?
Well, Chandra very well that I believe in compassionate capitalism. That is capitalism in mind, socialism at heart. Compassionate capitalism looks at fairness. It looks at ensuring that everybody is better off. Therefore, as long as the leaders of the IT industry embrace compassionate capitalism, as long as they are looking at how they can reduce the pain of the younger people, I believe that there is no place for any union in the IT industry. I am not a great fan of that. But however, if the leaders do not embrace compassionate capitalism, if they do not feel the pain of families that lose jobs, then automatically, whether we like it or not, those people will embrace the unions, and that in the long term is not a good solution.
Is there a danger of that happening?
That's one thing. It's not a good thing. I don't know if it is already happening, but if it happens, while in the short term unionism may appear to be a good solution for those people who are suffering today, but in the long term it will fall into the hands of people who may not have the best interest of the IT industry, and that is not good for the youngsters themselves, that is not good for the leaders of the IT industry. Therefore, it is better that the leaders of the IT industry embrace compassionate capitalism, they feel the pain of the younger people and prevent the formation of the IT unions, not by demanding that, by taking actions which demonstrate compassionate capitalism. That's what I think.
But will IT continue to be the engine of job creation that it has been, sir, in the last 2 decades? Or should we be prepared for a new normal now?
Well, look at it this way. Even if the IT industry were to grow at whatever 6-7%, if there are somewhere around 3 million jobs, that is going, and if the per capita revenue productivity is not increasing, you are looking at creation of anywhere between 150,000 to 200,000 jobs. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So, all the job creation may not come only from IT industry in the future, it will have to come from other sectors of the economy too.
Finally, sir, I remember you were part of a committee that gave recommendations in ASCOM on the areas that the industry needs to focus on going forward. You've mentioned some key things today on reskilling and how companies need to do more. If there are 2-3 things that companies can do right now in the next year or two, what would they be?
Well, it's very clearly, first of all, in the short term, the leaders of the industry will have to make some sacrifices and prevent lots of youngsters being left in the lurch.
Right.
That's one.
Right.
That's the short term. They have to look at the disposable income and then say, if this disposable income of the senior people is reduced by so much, how many jobs can we protect at the lower level? That is one. Parallelly, they will have to look at the areas of growth in the IT industry in the developed countries as well as in countries like India, and then mount reskilling programs in those areas. And then we have to train our salespeople to sell better in those new areas. That's it.
Sure. Thank you so much for talking to us, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/ETNow.